Okay, hi everybody, I am back. I've been on my holidays. Okay, I've been to Cornwall for a few days. Got back last week, so feeling a little bit refreshed. So I'm going to get into the Halloween production. So I'm going to start with pumpkinhead soap today, which is a blend of pumpkins, apples and like a buttery pastry. So I'm going to use some pumpkins that I've just made this week, little embeds. I'll bring you in closer so you can see all of this. And I'm going to be using some cocoa powder in my base. Then I'm going to do a cocoa lime, surprise, surprise. And then I think I'm going to do an in the pot swirl using some charcoal, some titanium dioxide and some saffron mica. So it's the only orange I've got left. I've just run out after making my little pumpkin, so I need to order some new micas. So yeah, I'll bring you in and we'll have a little chit chat about what I've been watching and what I've been doing and, you know, all that shizzle. Okay, so I've been listening to a podcast for the past couple of weeks. I gave every Netflix show and every podcast a break while I was on holiday because we were by the sea and I just was enjoying that. But I've come back and I've got back into my podcast listening. So I've been packing orders since we came back. It's been crazy because the autumn release went live back at the end of August, so I'm just finishing off the orders I need to pack, and I'll be doing that today after I've made this and then into the early next week, and then I'll be done so I can just focus on Halloween. So I've been listening to this podcast while I've been packing orders. It's like my ideal time to listen because I've got not a lot of noise in here. So the one I've been listening to is called The Teacher's Pet, and it's about the disappearance or supposed murder of this woman in New South Wales in Australia in 1982. So it's a bit, you know, like a 36-year-old case then. It's like a cold case. But they've got so much evidence against the husband, so I've been like listening. But oh Lord, if you've got the stamina to keep up with the podcast this long, then listen to it. It's worth a listen, but it really, really goes on and on. There's a lot of episodes and each one's around an hour long. So it's great when I'm at work because it just really like chops the day up. But I'm on the last episode right now, so I think he did it. I think it's pretty obvious given all the evidence he did it, but if you've listened to The Teacher's Pet, let me know below. You probably haven't, but you know, you never know, there could be some of you out there that have. Right, I'm going to stick blend this, so I'm going to turn the sound down so that you little freaks that like the stick blend emulsification can enjoy it. Okay. There we go, so I'm just emulsified that because I'm going to be pouring some off of my colours. It feels like such a long time since I've done a video, so I'm a bit out of what the hell is, well, I don't know what, you know what I'm trying to say. Yeah. So I'll do my best. I'm just not very massively upbeat today because it's Friday and I'm actually really tired, but we won't moan about being tired because that's just boring. Okay, I'm just going to put a bit of fragrance in the base of this and stick blend that. And that's just cocoa powder in there. Okay, now I'm going to bring my mould so I can pour that base and then we can dust it with some cocoa powder. It's just a thin layer for the base, that's all. I really like this fragrance. It's been, well, it's been a year since I used it. I like autumn a lot. I always have. I think it's just, I like the time of year where you just don't feel like you have to take too much care of your body because it's not going to be on show in the winter. You know, like self-tan if you want to wear some shorts, like especially in the UK because well, actually this year we had such a hot summer, but normally you have to use self-tan because if you want to wear shorts, you've got to get these lily white legs out. And in the autumn, it's all jumpers and coats and hats and, you know, the sweats can come back out so we can be a bit more cosy. And I like to cook and bake and things like that more so than any other time of the year. I really like the autumn, so I get really into like crumbles and puddings and things like that. So I'm just going to pop that to the side, like apple crumble, and oh god, I love autumn foods and like one pot cooking where you can just put everything in a pot, stick it in the oven and not worry about it. That's what I like. It's lovely. Okay, I think what I might do here is make this a bit light. I'm just going to use a bit of water. I want it to be pretty smooth. Just make sure you can see what I'm doing. I got my new camera, that's the thing I was going to talk about. I got a new camera because my memory card got stuck in my old camera and I couldn't get it out, which meant I couldn't use it because it was just, I got it out and then the spring fell out that holds the memory card in place, so it was just impossible. You can't use the camera without the memory card. So I bought a new camera and this is it, and it's got a screen on it so I can actually see what I'm doing as I go, which is really good. Okay, I'm just going to stick down this white. I haven't got my soapy water to clean up my stick blender, never mind. Okay, I just need to get in some fragrance into these. They're thickening up a bit, but this doesn't accelerate, so we're alright, I think. Trying to be really together because the other day I made soap. I had my little visitor in, the man that I was making the shave soap for a few weeks ago, and he came in to visit and he spent the afternoon, well, the rest of my afternoon with me, and I was just all set up ready to film. And because he decided to stay a bit longer, which wasn't a problem, we were having a good conversation about cars, funnily enough, it was just not possible for me to then film. So I thought, oh sod it, I'll make the soap anyway while he's standing there. And I forgot to add one of my liquid oils to my soap base. Oh, so I was gutted because it was a really nice soap. It was called Spice Strudel, and it was going to be the second batch because it sold so fast. So I'm going to have to buy the fragrance again and try again. It's just one of those things. It's actually not too bad a soap. I've got it in the window as a display soap, so it looks pretty. But it'll be very slightly lye heavy. It was like 260 odd grams of oil out, so you know it won't be too lye heavy, but it's not going to be any good for sale. So there you go. Anyway, I'm going to just pour in this black. Because it's going to be in the pot, it doesn't, I don't need to reserve any. forgotten what I was going to actually talk about. I'm not really, like I said, I'm not really with it today, but we'll just go on as we are. Normally I have a little topic I want to discuss, but I haven't got one really today. Some of you would be like, yay, thank God for that, just got to make the soap, will you? There's not a lot that's been really happening because I've just been at work, and that's it. It's Friday morning, and I've just got to finish today off, and Matt is going out tonight skateboarding, so I've got the night to myself, which would be nice. So I'm looking forward to that. So I can have my own programmes on without having to watch the Discovery Channel every single time. Okay, so I'm going to pour this into here. I think you can see all right because I can see you on the camera. That's set up nice now, so ooh, that looks lovely. Let's just go lightly while we let it go across. It's kind of moody looking. Bit wishy-washy, wasn't exactly what I was hoping for, but it's okay. It's okay. It's not as strong with the colours being defined as last year's. I think last year's I did the cocoa base, and then I did an orange layer, and then I think I did a black and white in the pot swirl on the top, and then plonked the pumpkins on the top of that. So this is a little bit different this year. But we never know until we cut it. It just looked a bit wishy-washy to me then. It sort of greyed out a bit, which I don't like. I like the black to be really strong, but hey-ho! It smells really good. Okay, so let's bring the pumpkins over. I've marked out where I need to place them. So I'll bring them in a bit closer so you can see the pumpkins going on. So you can see now what I mean. It's sort of gone a bit of a, you know, but then sometimes the colour comes out a bit more vibrant after. So, where is it that I cut? This side I do, that's my like piece that I have left at the end for samples. So I'm going to start here. And some of these pumpkins are bigger than others because I had to chop some in half. Well, there is one thing I can talk about that's fascinated me this week. There's this guy that I follow on Instagram, and he's a skateboarder. So if any of you are into skateboarding, you might have heard of a program called King of the Road. And there's a guy called Andy Roy, and he has had some really messed up teeth from being a drug addict for years. He's not a drug addict now, but he was a drug addict years ago. And it knackered all his teeth. And he's been doing this GoFundMe campaign to get people to help him pay to have new teeth, like to have some implants. And I mean, his teeth are messed up, or were rather messed up. And I mean, like, you know, they were like really bad, the poor lad. I know, like, self-inflicted and all that, but it doesn't matter. Like, if somebody's turned their life around through drugs, then more power to them. Anyway, so he'd done this GoFundMe where people had sort of started to fund him some money to get his teeth done, because he needed to raise about, I think it was like $30,000 or something like that. So he started to get some money in, and then all of a sudden he manages to get a sponsor, this dentist that does the dental implants, and he did it for him for $20,000. So if he could put up the first $12,000, I think this is it, then he would do them and like put up the rest. So the dentist would just say, like, forget about the rest, we'll do it. And it was really so that the dentist could gain some exposure on Instagram. And yesterday or the day before was the first day we got to see the unveiling of these teeth, and oh my god, it's completely changed his whole appearance. He's got, like, I mean, they're really white, so like this guy he had like the gnarliest looking teeth before and couldn't eat like, you know, too many like solid foods because he just didn't have enough teeth in his head to be able to eat properly. And now he's like, oh, it was so like sweet because his girlfriend's filming him on Instagram and he's now got these new teeth and he's like crying when he's eating because he can't believe that he can eat. Like, it was so nice to see. And I thought, oh, and he's just so over the top happy, you know, like he's so overwhelmed and so thankful to this dentist for doing it for him. It's completely and utterly changed his life. And yeah, it's just great. I mean, they do look mega white. I was thinking, geez, they could have like chosen a slightly less white colour, but it, you know, for him to actually have teeth now, it was just incredible, and it looks incredible. So if you follow my Instagram, you might be able to get onto my followers and find out, or just search Andy Roy, and you'll see his picture with his new teeth. It's just great. So happy. It's just one of those things I've been following, and it's been months and months of him doing this fun, like GoFundMe, and then he's finally got these teeth, and oh my God, the skateboarding world's just like blowing up for him. You know, he's got like all these like thousands of comments on his picture, and it's just great. I'm just, yeah, that's like the story of the week for me. I was like so thrilled for him, because it must be so bad to have bad teeth, you know, and be embarrassed and not be able to eat properly. But now he can, and it's all changed his life. I just thought it was just the best thing. So there you go. That's today's happy news. And there's my pumpkin head soap. And I will be back tomorrow morning to cut him. All right? Hopefully I'll have some more things to talk about. Okay. Ta-ta. Okay. Time to cut this here soap then. So it'd be Saturday, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I've just come in to do this. It's me and Matthew have been to my mummy's today, taking the dog for a walk and just sorting some things out, because tomorrow I have to go and drive down south to Gosport to go and pick up my stepdad. So he's out, been visiting his family. I think I mentioned that. So Matt's going to look after the doggies, so we're just sorting that out today. So here is Pumpkinhead, and we're going to chop him up. Chop him up into little tiny pieces. So, got to go shopping after I've been here to go and get some food. So Matt's got supplies for tomorrow, and I'm going to be cooking a curry this evening. Good grief, look at that. So it's come out really nice and swirly. I'll bring you in a bit closer in a second just so you can see a little bit closer. But that's actually come out really pretty. Well, I wasn't expecting it to be that nice after yesterday when it went a bit muted, but it's actually, the swirls have come out really sort of haunting. Very, very nice. I'm loving how we're getting like a really good swirl going on in there. It's good when soap just does its own thing, isn't it? So, there we go. I'll have to take a picture of these little logs for my Instagram. My Instagram link is below if you want to come and follow me on Instagram. I post lots and lots of things on there. So, there's my end piece, which I shall use for samples. And just get rid of these little bits, and then I'll bring you in a bit closer. Okie dokie, so let's get these cut then. I've just trimmed off the very end just so that our pumpkins line up, because I don't want to ruin my pumpkins. I need them to be on the top. So there we go, so our cocoa base, cocoa line, and then that nice swirl over there. Make some room, get some tissue. So last night Matt went out for skateboard to Birmingham. They got a big skate park up there, so we went to the skate park, and I always think, oh, when he's on a night out I can have the TV to myself and sit with the dog and have Netflix on if I want to, or just watch what I want to watch on TV, have a takeaway. So I was all set up last night, and then the dog decides she's just not coping very well without Daddy, which she did to me before. So I had to go and take her out for a run just to wear her out, and we got caught in a rainstorm, so I got soaked. And then we got a Chinese, and then we did get home and she was okay. She did actually, I'm just going to chop on there, did manage to get to sleep, get her to go to sleep. And Daddy got in about 11 o'clock or something like that. So I was watching this Amy Winehouse, there was a few Amy Winehouse programmes. I don't know, it must be the anniversary of her death or something like that. And I love Amy Winehouse so much. And even though we could all see it coming, I was so devastated when she died. It was just horrible. Horrible, horrible, horrible. So this programme last night, it was her talking about her favourite artists. So she was talking about Sarah Vaughan and Dinah Washington and Aretha and Ella and, oh God. Amy was just on another level. And it's still really sad now. Every time she comes on, I'm like, oh God. Why? Such a shame. Such a shame. She was amazing, wasn't she? If you're that kind of a, you know, a fan of Amy Winehouse, it's just, it's tragic that you lose these people that, it's like she was a real one, you know? She knew music. She knew what was good music. And it really, really, really bothered me when she died, because I thought, you're one of the only people I can listen to, and knowing where you're coming from, and you know, influences and things. You know, she was a massive jazz fan and a massive hip hop fan, and she knew that music like really, really well, and her music reflected what she knew and what she grew up with. And to lose that just when you find it is just, it just guts me. It just really does, you know. Music plays a big part in our lives. Well, it does in mine for sure. And yeah. So that was, it was good to see it, but it was sad at the same time, which it always is. Every time there's a programme on Amy, I always get like, oh, I get like this. So yeah, miss her, miss her, miss her, miss her. I don't really know, I haven't really done much else, because I was talking to you yesterday about not really having too much to talk about, because all it's been this week is work, and to be honest, I've been so tired. Like, I slept really well last night, and then today we haven't done much but just go for a nice walk, so I haven't really got too much to talk to you about at the moment. Other than getting ready for Halloween, I'm just going to be working on some Harry Potter inspired stuff for Halloween. I'm not going too dark this year. There'll be some things that come back, but I don't go like down the really, really dark, heavy Halloween route. I always sort of keep an autumnal sort of magical vibe to my Halloween. I don't go, you know, horror and all that kind of stuff, which I do like, but my own inspirations aren't horror films, because I don't actually watch them, which you'll be surprised at, knowing how much I listen to true crime and stuff like that. I don't do horror movies. I can't do horror movies because I dream really, really badly. And of course, if one of the worst films for me is like Halloween. People are going to be laughing their heads off at this, but it freaks me out. It really freaks me out. I hate the bit where he's standing in the washing and she's just getting home from school, and it's like that 3 p.m. thing where 3 p.m. should be a nice time. You're coming home from school, you can relax, and there he is standing in the washing. And I know it's like the most ridiculous thing to be frightened of, but it's like it does something in my brain. I just think, no, this should all be nice, and it's not nice. It's horrible. It's horrible, and nobody's home with her. She's on her own. So every time I watch a horror film, of course, the evil person is lurking outside my house, and I can't sleep. It plays on my mind like that badly. I can't sleep. I can't watch horror. I don't like blood and gore and things like that. I don't mind a bit of a thriller, and I don't mind a ghost story too much, but when it's the paranormal and when it's like really, really evil stuff like Silence of the Lambs and things like that, even though I listen to stories about these types of people, I cannot watch it. I just can't watch it. It's too frightening. I have seen Silence of the Lambs and the films that followed, and I just think it's sick. It's absolutely sick. Because it's like, you know, making films out of things that are, I just don't like it. I don't like it. And you will find that weird, considering how much true crime I listen to. But it's just, yeah, in reality, I can't watch like horror. I've never been able to deal with it very well. I think that there was a book I read called Is it The Secret of Crickley Hall? And then they did a series on the BBC, and the book, oh my God, it freaked me out. But the TV series, the way that you know how you picture like a place, when you are reading a book, you can picture the house and you can picture the people, you can picture like the whole, you know, feel, you can actually draw a picture in your mind. And when the programme came out for Crickley Hall, I thought, oh my God, it's like exactly the same as I'd imagined. And my sister, Natalie, she was the same. Like, she watched it and she was like, what did you think about the house? And I said, it's exactly as I imagined it. There's like a bridge going across to the house. I imagined the bridge and the dog running across and the rainstorm, and all of it was exactly as I'd imagined when I read that book. But Crickley Hall, oh, that was some nasty stuff. But I can deal with watching that, even though I find it frightening and scary. It's not like things like Silence of the Lambs really get in your head, because it's just so sick, you know. It's like, because you can never understand where those sort of people are coming from. Ghost stories are ghost stories, but when it's serial killers that eat people and things like that, it's like, oh my God. I listened to the podcast about Ed Gein, and you just can't ever understand, like, there's no understanding of it at all, because it's so sick and so disgusting and so warped that it's, you know what I mean? It's impossible to understand. So I'm just going to plane off one of these just so I can see what it's looking like when it's all tidied up. Sorry, I'm rambling again about serial killers and stuff, but you'll just have to deal with it. Yeah, let's use this beveler. I don't like this beveler on here, but I'll use it just to get this one cleaned up, because I want to just see what it's going to come out like. Old pumpkin head. Yeah, I think it came out pretty nice. So I'll leave some pictures at the end of some close-ups, and then you can see. And then the next video, I have got to make pandemonium, but that's only a one colour, well, it discolours, so it would just be pouring the soap, so that won't be very interesting to see. And then, but I could do Toffee Moonface. I'll show you what I've made to go on to Toffee Moonface. Toffee Moonface is an apple and mandarin and toffee soap, so I've just got to order the apple fragrance I need, and I made little apples to go on the tops. So I've got enough in my little moulds here. I got these from the range in the UK, and they were about £1 each, so I bought 3, and you get 4, 10. So I've got 30 apples to use up. So that'll be the next one. So there'll be some apple embeds on top, and we'll do probably a similar type of design on that one. So I'll probably film that one, and that'll be quite nice to see since it's autumn and we're getting into it now. So I'm going to finish off these, go and do some shopping, go and chill out, and then I've got to drive a long way tomorrow and back in the same day. It's going to take about 2.5 hours to get down there. We'll have a little walk on the beach, and then another 2.5 hours or 3 hours to come back. So Matt's got his work cut out for him tomorrow with 3 doggies to look after. And me and Mummy are going to the seaside for the day, and that'll be nice. So I will be back for Toffee Moonface, and we'll have a think about what other things we can talk about. So leave some discussion topics down below, and I'll pick some out so that we don't disappoint all the people who hate true crime. And I will see you later. Ta-ta.